I was just in Mexico City. And firstly, we're going to talk in a minute about Mexico City and communities and the incredible side of an inclusive community, what it looks like to live in a collective community. But before I get there, something very interesting. Everywhere we went in Mexico City, there were beautiful houses, but you would never know because outside of the houses, there were huge fortresses. I'm talking about huge walls, and on top of the walls, there's barbed wire. And on top of them, there are spikes. And on top of those, there are security cameras and sometimes dogs. Why? I understand. We build these kind of institutions to make sure nobody ever comes close. In some places that we live, we have to build bigger walls, in some places, smaller walls. But we've developed a concept as individuals, the best way to live is if I have triple locks. If I have a Ring camera on the outside, that scares everybody away before I even let them into the house. I make sure nobody comes close. When I walk on the street, it's a little more scary because I don't walk around with a fortress. So there are other ways that we segregate ourselves. Make sure not to have eye contact. One of the most awkward moments I had was we traveled to New York for a wedding with my little Yair. He was 7 months old, and he was just learning how to really make eye contact with people. We got onto the train. We were going from the airport to pick up our car. And for whatever reason, Yair decided to stare somebody down. Now, you have to understand, the first 3 seconds was really cute. The guy smiled back at him. He waved. Yair was not smiling. All he was doing was staring the person down. And it started to get really awkward. About 10 minutes after that, finally, we parted ways, only to go down into the car rental. The couple came to the exact same counter as us to get a car. And what does Yair do? Steers them down all over again, right? We're not comfortable with that. We don't like to connect. We've been taught, just avoid contact. Don't look at them. Don't look at the person's face. If you look too long, it feels weird. Certainly don't sit near them. You're sitting on a bus, on a train. Make sure that you leave at least 2 seats. Try this. Try sitting in the middle of 2 people. Look at the faces that you're gonna get. Or they'll just probably pick themselves up and move. It feels too awkward. You're not sitting on that person's lap. I hope not. You're simply sitting in the middle of 2 people. If you've ever sat on an airplane, the middle seat is the worst because both people on the sides think that the armrests are for them. So you end up like this the whole flight. Why? Because we don't dare touch each other. Not just physically, but we've created a culture where the 2 entities should never meet. It's too scary. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what kind of fusion may take place, what kind of human interaction may happen, and it might leave me very vulnerable.